Top 3 foods that instantly flush out toxins and lower creatinine naturally. Most people trying to protect their kidneys unknowingly eat foods that quietly raise creatinine. Every plate of the wrong protein or salty side dishes adds to the waste, draining your blood. That mistake slowly pushes the kidneys toward failure. But with just 3 food swaps, you can flip the script, turning meals from silent killers into powerful foods that flush out toxins and lower creatinine naturally. Number 1 is shirataki. Your kidneys are working around the clock, but what happens when the gut starts flooding the bloodstream with hidden poisons? Every bite of protein leaves leftovers that bacteria in the intestines can turn into harmful compounds. These poisons do not just sit quietly. They travel through the blood, raise inflammation, and make the kidneys work harder than ever. Over time, they push creatinine higher and higher. Many people never realize that their gut acts like a factory constantly releasing waste into their blood. But there is one unique food that can slow the factory's process before the damage reaches the kidneys. This food is called shirataki, also known as konjac noodles. Shirataki is not a normal noodle. It comes from the root of the konjac plant and contains a special fiber called glucomannan. Think of this fiber as a soft sponge moving through the intestines. As it travels, it soaks up harmful compounds and carries them out before they can sneak into the bloodstream. Instead of letting the toxins get absorbed and pass to the kidneys, this sponge-like fiber speeds them straight out of the body. Wouldn't you want a shield like that inside your system every day? Research shows that people who eat more viscous fiber, the type found in konjac, can lower toxic byproducts in the blood by around 15 to 30%. That is not a small number. Imagine reducing nearly 1/3 of the poisons that strain your kidneys just by eating the right kind of noodle. In another study, adding only 3 to 4 grams of glucomannan a day improved bowel rhythm and lowered the waste that the kidneys normally have to clear. A single serving of shirataki noodles already delivers that amount. Small choices like this create big shifts inside the body. Now, let's look at what makes shirataki different from every other food on the shelf. A typical 4-ounce pouch has only 10 to 20 calories. It carries about 3 to 4 grams of pure fiber and has almost no digestible carbohydrates. The potassium and phosphorus levels are so low that they barely register. For someone with kidney stress, that is powerful. Most noodles are heavy in carbs and often loaded with sodium, but shirataki offers the comfort of pasta without the burden that can spike labs. In stores across the United States, you may see them labeled as shirataki, konjac, or even miracle noodles. The key is to check the label and make sure glucomannan is the main ingredient. So, how does this noodle actually help with creatinine? The logic is simple. If fewer toxins form in the gut, the kidneys have less to filter. If protein breakdown slows, the blood stays steadier and the spikes in waste soften. If stool rhythm improves, poisons leave the body daily instead of piling up for a week. This means the kidneys no longer stand alone in the fight. They receive support from the gut, which shows up in the blood test results. Creatinine trends flatten or even begin to improve when the gut is no longer overloading the system. But how do you start using shirataki without upsetting your stomach? Begin small. Half a pouch, which is about 2 ounces cooked, is enough for the first few days. Add it once daily, ideally with a meal. After 3 or 4 days, increase to 1 full pouch if there is no bloating. The best times to use it are lunch or dinner, paired with lean protein and a low-potassium vegetable. The pairing matters because the noodles themselves do not provide protein. Balancing them with the right foods gives the body what it needs without adding extra stress. Cooking shirataki is simpler than many think. They arrive in water-packed bags with a distinct smell, but that goes away with a good rinse. For a quick meal, rinse the noodles, dry them in a pan for 2 to 3 minutes, then toss with a teaspoon of olive oil, half a teaspoon of garlic, a little lemon zest, and chopped parsley. Serve that with a small portion of egg whites for a light and filling dish. Another option is what some call mac and no cheese. Blend cauliflower into a creamy base, mix it with the shirataki, and add black pepper and chives. You get a comforting bowl that feels like comfort food without the salt or the heavy carbs. When shopping, keep a few rules in mind. Always check for konjac or glucomannan as the main ingredient. Avoid options mixed with tofu if phosphorus is a concern. Stick to the plain versions rather than the flavored or rice packets, since those may be soaked in sauces that contain too much sodium. Once you learn what to look for, buying the right kind becomes second nature. Of course, even a powerful food like shirataki has limits and needs respect. Fiber can cause gas or cramping if it's added too quickly. That's why starting small is key. For people with swallowing issues, the texture means that chewing well and drinking enough water are important. Because fiber can interfere with medication absorption, keep a gap of 2 to 3 hours between shirataki and medications. Finally, if you have been told to follow a very low-fiber medical diet, do not add it without guidance. The goal is to help the kidneys, not create new challenges. How will you know if shirataki is working for you? Pay attention to your body. Within the first week, bowel rhythm often improves, constipation eases, and bloating reduces. Over 2 to 6 weeks, blood tests may show that waste levels like blood urea nitrogen or creatinine become steadier or even decline. Each small shift is proof that your gut is working alongside your kidneys rather than against them. These changes are not sudden miracles. They are steady steps toward less pressure on your filters and more freedom in your daily life. Now think about this. If your gut is the factory producing poison, shirataki is the shut-off valve that keeps those poisons from flooding your blood. Imagine giving your kidneys that kind of relief every single day. But shirataki is only the first tool. What happens when your body also needs clean, high-quality protein without the heavy waste that usually comes with it? The next food provides exactly that, and it is as common as breakfast. Get ready to discover the power of egg whites. Before we move on, I'd love to know where you're watching from. If you're working to ease the kidney problems naturally, make sure to subscribe to Kidnease and turn on the notification bell. And if this content helps you, type 1 in the comments or 0 if it doesn't. I want to keep improving for you. Protein is the one nutrient the body cannot live without, yet it can also be the one that silently harms the kidneys the most. Without enough protein, muscles weaken, the immune system falters, and the body struggles to heal. But when the wrong kind of protein fills the plate, the kidneys drown in excess waste, creatinine climbs, and toxins flood the bloodstream. So here is the critical question. How do you feed the body strength without crushing the kidneys under more pressure? The surprising answer lies in one of the simplest and purest foods available, the egg white. Egg whites are a gift for people living with kidney stress because they deliver clean protein in its purest form. They strip away the parts of the egg that overload the body with phosphorus, fat, and purines. What is left is protein that repairs, strengthens, and protects without creating a heavy trail of waste. Every egg white is like a small packet of safe fuel, powerful enough to build the body but gentle enough for the kidneys to handle. The numbers reveal the difference clearly. A single large egg white contains about 4 grams of protein, only 10 milligrams of phosphorus, around 54 milligrams of potassium, and just 17 calories. Compare this to the yolk, which holds 55 to 70 milligrams of phosphorus, far more fat, and other compounds that increase waste. That means the yolk asks the kidneys to do more work, while the white does the opposite. It nourishes without strain. For someone trying to lower creatinine, that difference is not small. That's the line between burden and relief. Switching from high phosphorus proteins to egg whites changes more than just numbers on a label. It changes what happens inside the blood. People who make this switch often see their albumin levels rise, a sign of stronger nutrition and better defense against illness. At the same time, blood urea nitrogen, a marker of waste in the blood, tends to decline. When this happens, the blood feels cleaner, energy improves, and the kidneys no longer stand alone against an endless flood of toxins. Think about the body without enough protein. Muscles shrink, fatigue creeps in, cuts and bruises take longer to heal, infections strike harder and last longer. Without the right protein, the body loses its shield. But when protein intake is balanced and clean, muscles stay strong, energy levels hold steady, and healing is faster. That is why egg whites matter. They give enough protein to keep the body resilient while sparing the kidneys from overwork. The question many people ask is, how much should I eat? For most adults living with kidney concerns, a safe target is 12 to 24 grams of protein from egg whites daily. That equals about 3 to 6 egg whites each day. Splitting them between meals is even better. Breakfast is an ideal time because the body has gone without fuel all night. Another smart time is after physical activity, when muscles are repairing and need protein quickly. Adding egg whites during these times keeps muscles protected and prevents unnecessary creatinine spikes caused by muscle breakdown. Egg whites also prove that kidney-friendly food can taste good. A colourful scramble with chopped red bell pepper, onion, and fresh herbs brings flavour without the salt. Lemon juice or black pepper adds brightness and zest without burdening the kidneys. For a sweeter option, hot oats can be stirred with pasteurized egg whites right after cooking. The result is creamy, protein-packed oats finished with cinnamon and blueberries. For a versatile option, egg whites can be poured into a hot pan to create a thin wrap. Fill it with shredded chicken and cabbage slaw for a light, satisfying meal. These recipes turn a simple egg white into comforting dishes that heal instead of harm. Buying egg whites is simple too. Liquid egg whites sold in cartons are convenient and safe because they are pasteurized. For those who want a budget-friendly option, whole eggs are cheaper. You can separate the yolks at home and keep only the whites. Either way, the goal is the same. Use the clean white portion and leave behind the parts that burden the kidneys. Always check labels to ensure there are no added ingredients. The closer the product is to plain egg white, the better it is for your health. But there are important cautions to keep in mind. Protein needs are personal. Eating too little leads to frailty, while eating too much, even from egg whites, can still overload the kidneys. Balance is critical. Food safety is another point to remember. Raw egg whites are risky, so if you want to add them to foods that are not fully cooked, always choose pasteurized versions. Egg whites also bring relief to the grocery bill. A 32-ounce carton often costs $5 to $7 and contains the same protein as several pounds of chicken breast. That means they provide one of the most affordable and kidney-safe sources of protein in the United States. For families managing kidney health on a tight budget, this is a food that protects both the body and the wallet. The changes egg whites bring can be tracked not just in the lab, but in how life feels every day. Energy begins to rise when the body finally has enough protein to build with. Fullness after meals increases, which reduces cravings for salty snacks that damage blood pressure and kidneys. Over time, lab results may show steadier albumin, lower blood urea nitrogen, and a smoother creatinine curve. Each small improvement is proof that the right protein choice is making a difference. Egg whites prove that you do not have to give up strength to protect your kidneys. They allow you to keep the protein, build the muscle, and heal faster without loading the blood with more toxins. They are clean, affordable, versatile, and powerful. Every bite works in your favor. Still, protein is only one piece of the puzzle. The body also needs foods that can clear toxins before they reach the kidneys, reduce hidden salt, and support natural cleansing inside every cell. That power comes not from meat or protein, but from a vegetable that has been a quiet ally in many American kitchens. Low in potassium, rich in protective compounds, and flexible enough to replace salty starches, this vegetable deserves far more attention. The next step in protecting your kidneys comes from cauliflower. If you're finding this helpful so far, please take a second to like this video. It may seem small, but it tells YouTube that this message matters and helps kidneys reach more people who truly need it. If you believe others deserve this knowledge too, tap that thumbs up now. Every kidney suffers when salt builds up, blood pressure rises, and potassium levels get too high. That is the reality many people face every day, without realizing how much the food on their plate controls these silent threats. But there is a vegetable that flips this story. It is low in potassium, naturally supports detox pathways, and is versatile enough to replace the very foods that trigger swelling, fatigue, and kidney strain. That vegetable is cauliflower, one of the best foods to flush out toxins and protect the kidneys naturally. Cauliflower looks ordinary, but inside it holds powerful compounds. It belongs to the crucifer family, known for its ability to activate the body's own cleanup system. These compounds, called glucosinolates, turn on enzymes that help neutralize damage before it reaches the kidney filters. Think of them as tiny cleaners working inside your body, sweeping away stress before it leaves a scar. Add to that a strong dose of vitamin C, and you have a food that not only protects, but also heals. Vitamin C boosts antioxidant strength and helps blood vessels remain more flexible, an essential defense when high blood pressure threatens the kidneys daily. The numbers prove why cauliflower is called a renal classic. A single cup of cooked cauliflower has about 176 milligrams of potassium, which is far below the levels found in many other vegetables. It also delivers 55 milligrams of vitamin C, around 2 to 3 grams of fiber, and only 25 calories. When boiled and drained, the potassium content drops even lower, making it one of the safest vegetable choices for people who need to watch their potassium closely. With that combination of low potassium, high vitamin C, modest fiber, and almost no calories, cauliflower is a rare food that works in every direction to lighten the kidney's load. So, how does this translate into lower creatinine? The first step is reducing potassium and sodium pressure. By swapping out starchy sides like mashed potatoes, white rice, or pasta with cauliflower, you reduce both the salt and potassium in the meal. This lowers fluid strain on the kidneys and helps blood pressure come down. The second step is the antioxidant power. By calming oxidative stress, cauliflower protects the nephrons, the tiny filters that keep the blood clean. The third step is satiety. Cauliflower fills the stomach without packing calories, which supports weight control and steady blood pressure, two of the biggest drivers of kidney decline. Together, these changes mean less waste buildup and smoother creatinine trends. Using cauliflower is not complicated. Aim for half a cup to 1 cup cooked 2 to 3 times per day, as a side or as a base. The beauty of cauliflower is how easily it takes the place of heavy, high-potassium foods. It can replace rice, mashed potatoes, pizza crust, and even pasta sauce bases. In every swap, you lighten the kidney's burden without feeling deprived. Cooking with cauliflower can be fast and flavorful. A simple mash is made by boiling florets, draining them, then pureeing with a teaspoon of olive oil, garlic powder, and fresh chives. It is creamy, filling, and needs no butter. For a lighter dish, riced cauliflower can be stir-fried with green onion, red bell pepper, and a splash of lemon pepper seasoning that contains no sodium. If you crave comfort food, steam florets and blend them with unsweetened almond milk, a touch of nutritional yeast if phosphorus allows, and mustard powder. The result is a silky sauce that feels indulgent but remains kidney-safe. One of the challenges with kidney diets is flavor, especially when salt is restricted. Cauliflower adapts beautifully to seasoning without needing sodium. Lemon juice, vinegar, smoked paprika, or roasted garlic all add depth and variety. Salt-free seasoning blends are widely available in American grocery stores. Just make sure the label clearly says no sodium. This way, you get flavor without raising blood pressure or fluid retention. Of course, no food is perfect for everyone. Cauliflower can cause gas if introduced too quickly. Starting with half a cup and chewing thoroughly helps the body adjust. People taking warfarin should remember that cruciferous vegetables contain vitamin K. That does not mean avoiding them, but it does mean keeping intake steady and coordinating with the healthcare team. The cost and convenience of cauliflower make it even more appealing. Frozen riced cauliflower bags often sell for $2 to $4, and steam-in-bag options can be ready in 5 minutes. Fresh heads are inexpensive as well and stretch into multiple meals. Few foods offer so much protection for so little cost. How do you know cauliflower is helping? Small changes appear first. Blood pressure begins to inch downward as sodium intake falls. Swelling in the ankles and feet may ease as fluid balance improves. Energy levels rise as potassium and salt intake settle into safer ranges. Over time, blood work may reflect steadier creatinine levels, better blood pressure control, and improved overall comfort. That's why cauliflower deserves space on your plate. It does not just fill you up. It clears the way for kidneys to rest, for toxins to be neutralized, and for blood pressure to stabilize. It replaces harmful foods with healing ones without demanding sacrifice. For anyone serious about lowering creatinine and protecting their kidneys, cauliflower is a quiet but powerful ally. If this video was helpful, please don't leave without subscribing to Kidnease. And if you feel like I truly understood your struggle and offered a solution that matters, type the word relief in the comments. I'd love to know if this helped you.